Morning students, our today's topic is refraction and dispersion of light through a prism. So first of all, let us discuss refraction through a prism. So first of all, what is a glass prism? A triangular glass prism is a bounded figure which has two triangular bases and three rectangular lateral surfaces, and these surfaces are inclined to each other. So let us see this figure. It have three rectangular surfaces, 1, 2 and 3, and it has two triangular bases. One is triangular, this one, and another is back side to it. So it is bounded by these figures, and also the surfaces are inclined to each other at an angle. That angle is known as angle of prism. Secondly, we already discussed refraction of light, the phenomenon of change of direction of propagation of light when it goes obliquely from one transparent medium to other is known as refraction of light. Now, this is a activity 11.1 in your NCERT book, that is refraction of light through a triangular glass prism. We put a glass prism on a paper and we do this activity. In that activity, we see that this is incident ray. Incident ray means the direction along which the light ray falls on this surface of the prism. Now this is a normal. This is perpendicular to this surface of the prism. Now, as here is air, and in glass prism, as it is made up of glass, here is glass. Air is rarer and glass is denser. This ray of light goes from rarer to denser. So according to the rules of refraction, it will bend towards the normal. This is the normal. It would have gone in this direction, but as it is going in different medium, in denser medium, so it will not go in this direction. It will bend towards the normal, and when it falls on another surface, then it would have gone in this direction if it would have not bent. But as it is going from denser to rarer, so it will go away from the normal. This is normal to this surface, so it will go away from the normal. So this is the actual path of ray of light which falls on this prism. What we have noticed, that this emergent ray is bending towards the base of the prism. So this type of refraction takes place in glass prism, that when a ray of light is incident obliquely on one surface of the glass prism, then it bends towards the base of the prism on the other side. Secondly, this ray, this direction along which the light comes and falls on the surface of a prism is known as incident ray. The direction along which the path along which this light goes inside the prism is known as refracted ray, and this path or direction along which the light emerges out from the prism is known as emergent ray. Now the angle between this normal and incident ray is known as angle of incidence. The angle between this normal and this refracted ray is known as angle of refraction, and the angle between this normal and this emergent ray is known as angle of emergence. So we know that angle I is always greater than angle R, because angle I is in rarer medium and R is in denser medium. In some books you can get this notation like here is R1, here is R2. Both are refraction angles. Now the important things in this, that we notice that the incident ray would have gone in this direction, but it have not gone in this direction, it have gone in this direction. If we backmeet this emergent ray and we further increase this incident ray, these both will appear to meet at this point G. So the angle between the direction of incident ray and the direction of emergent ray is known as angle of deviation. Means this ray of light have deviated in this direction through this angle. This angle is known as angle of deviation. It is denoted by D, and in some book it is denoted by delta. So this was about the refraction of light through a prism, that when a ray of light passes through glass prism, it gets bent twice at the air glass interface and glass air interface. Twice means first here and another here, 2 times. The angle between two lateral faces is called the angle of prism. So this angle is known as angle of prism. This angle is known as angle of prism. The emergent ray is deviated by an angle to the incident ray. This angle is called angle of deviation. The angle between incident ray and normal is known as angle of incidence. And the angle between emergent ray and normal is known as angle of emergence. Now, we have discussed about the refraction of light through glass slab in last lecture, in last chapter, and we have discussed about refraction by glass prism. So let us compare. The emergent ray is parallel to incident ray in case of glass slab because the opposite edges are parallel to each other. And we notice there that the emergent ray was parallel to incident ray and angle I was equal to angle E in case of glass slab. But in case of glass prism, the emergent ray deviates from the direction of the incident ray. In this case, emergent ray is not parallel to the incident ray and angle I is not equal to angle E. Yes, it can be, but in one situation only. In case of glass prism, angle I is equal to angle E only in the position of minimum deviation. Minimum deviation means that position in which the ray of light, refracted ray inside the prism, goes parallel to the base of the prism. In that case only I is equal to E in case of prism, otherwise not. And this concept is also not in our 10th class syllabus. Now, the ray of light passing through a glass slab is laterally displaced, and we have seen that incident and emergent ray were parallel. And in case of glass prism, a ray of light through a prism changes its direction. If path of ray of light is reversed, the ray of light retraces its original direction in case of glass slab. But in case of prism, the path of ray of light is reversed. It may not retrace its original direction. Angle I is equal to angle E. And in case of prism, this relationship, it should be true. And this is also the result of our practical. That is angle of prism plus the angle of deviation. The sum of these two angles is equal to angle of incidence and angle of emergence. So this relationship is true in case of glass prism. Now our next topic is dispersion of light. As the name suggests, disperse means spread. So in this topic we will discuss about that when ray of light, white light is a polychromatic light. One is monochromatic type of lights which are made up of a single wavelength, and another type is polychromatic ray of light, which are made up of more than one wavelength. So our sunlight is a polychromatic ray of light. So when white light, sunlight falls on this glass prism, then it get spread, it get dispersed, it get split into its component colors, because it is made up of 7 wavelengths based on 7 colors, and these all colors get separated from each other. So dispersion of white light by glass prism, this is a beam of white light. When it falls on the surface of this glass prism, then it get split, it get separate in its component colors. Why it happens, we will discuss. First of all, when a beam of light is passed through a glass prism, it is split up into a band of colors called spectrum. So what is spectrum? This band of color which we get from the this glass prism, this band is known as spectrum, and this phenomena is called as the dispersion of white light. The spectrum of white light has colors violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. The red light bends the least and violet light bends the most. This is violet and this is red. Why it happens, we will discuss in next slide. Cause of dispersion. Okay, now the main cause of dispersion is that when white light travels in air, then as we discussed, it is made up of 7 wavelengths, 7 colors, and these all colors have same speed in air. So when they mix up with each other in air, they give a sensation of white light. So they are traveling with same speed and altogether they are of white light. But when they enters in glass prism, their speed is different in glass prism. Different color have different speed. As this is the wavelength range 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. First of all, nanometer. Nanometer is a unit of length. Nano means 10 raised to power minus 9 and meter means meter. If you will convert it into meter, then you will write 400 into 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. Come back to our topic. 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer means that the violet light have a wavelength of 400 nanometer and red light has a wavelength of 700 nanometer. Means their wavelength range is different. And this is a formula of wavelength, that is wavelength is equal to speed divided by frequency. V equal to nu lambda. We have discussed this formula in 9th class also. So this is wavelength. For same frequency, as we discussed in light chapter also, that frequency will not change when it goes or when it changes the medium. So two things changes, one is wavelength and another is speed. As wavelength of red color is maximum, that is 700 nanometer, so more is the wavelength, more will be the speed of red color out of these 7 colors, and so on. And finally of violet color, as the wavelength of violet color is least, so speed of violet color will be least. So in air, these all were traveling with the same speed, but when they enter in glass prism, their speed is different. Most fast movement of red color, maximum speed of red color and least speed of violet color, and according to their speed they get separate, and when they come out of this glass prism, they come out separated and we get these all the different colors. You can compare this as when you run during your athletic meet and different suppose 7 students are starting from a point, and according to their speed they get separated from each other, and one student reaches to the final point at the first, he is the winner, and others are moving according to their speeds. So in this way that the winner student is of red color and others are of violet. So different colors of light bend through different angles with respect to the incident ray as they pass through the prism. The red light bends least while violet the most, because red light having maximum wavelength has maximum speed and vice versa. Thus the rays of each color emerge along different paths and thus become distinct. It is the band of distinct colors that we see in the spectrum. Next is, this is also a very important question, Newton's experiment. This was in your CBSE 2020 exam, that how we can recombine the spectrum which we get from the white light when it passes through the prism. So we can get back the white light by placing another inverted prism in front of this prism. As white light passes through this prism, it gets separated into its component colors, and when we place another prism which is inverted in front of it, it will again recombine these colors and finally we will get a white color. Very important question. Next is rainbow formation. This is the natural phenomena happening in our surrounding. Here what happens, that when there is rainfall, then raindrops are present in the atmosphere, and when the sunlight falls on this raindrop, then this raindrop acts like a prism and it get dispersed inside it. It falls on the surface. So some sunlight can pass through it as it is, but some sunlight which is falling on this surface, as here is air, here is water, and again here is air. Some ray of light can go directly, which will not be a part of rainbow formation, but some light which falls on the surface interface, denser, rarer interface, it get internally reflect. Now internally reflect means total internal reflection phenomena takes place here. Now what is total internal reflection? That when this light falls on a surface inside this denser medium and it falls on a particular angle, that angle is critical angle, then it get reflect back in the same medium. This phenomena is total internal reflection. This phenomena is also not in our syllabus. This was just for your knowledge, that when ray of light falls on a particular angle, that is at critical angle, that some ray of light get reflect back on this side and then again it get refracted and comes back. So a rainbow is a natural spectrum appearing in the sky after a rain shower. It is caused by dispersion of sunlight by water droplet present in the atmosphere. The water droplets act like small prisms. They refract and disperse the sunlight, then reflect it internally and finally refract it again when it comes out of the raindrops. Due to dispersion of sunlight and internal reflection by the water droplet, we see the rainbow colors. So we have seen here that which phenomena are taking place. Number one, here the phenomena of refraction of light is taking place because the ray of light is going from air to water. Secondly, यहाँ dispersion of light takes place because it get separated into its component colors. At this surface, internal reflection, total internal reflection takes place. Again at this surface, refraction of light takes place. So we have seen that 2 times refraction, 1 time reflection, and 1 time dispersion of light takes place during rainbow formation. This is an important question for your examination point of view. Now, the steps involved in the formation of a rainbow. Light from sun strikes the raindrop. Some of light is reflected. The rest of light is refracted. White light splits into component colors. Light is refracted again as it leaves raindrops and colors are further dispersed. Now, this is the phenomena which is taking place. We can also see a rainbow on a sunny day when we look at the sky through a waterfall or through a water fountain, because in that case also the conditions are fulfilling, that the water droplets are in the atmosphere and the sun is behind us. So if there is question in exam that what are the conditions to see a rainbow, so conditions are: number 1, there should be raindrops present, water drops present in the atmosphere. Number 2, the sun should be behind the observer, because the sunlight is coming from your backside and it is falling on the raindrops which are in front of you, and due to that phenomena the rainbow is formed. The one more thing, if there is question in exam that what is the shape of rainbow, actually rainbow is of spherical shape. As we can see in this figure, this rainbow is of spherical shape, but we see it in the form of arc because we can see a part of it only, because we are observing the raindrops which are above us. So actually this rainbow is of circular shape, but we see a part of it, so it is seen in the form of a arc only. Secondly, we can see the full circle rainbow if we are at a height, like this is the photograph. When we are in a plane, then we see rainbow of this shape. So this was all about your refraction and dispersion of light. Prepare this topic properly. Thank you.